Three, two, one. Okay. Hello, friends. So today we have Aadarsh Iyer with us. And in this session, we will come to know about his incredible journey from developer to entrepreneur. And most important, what we can learn from his experience. Friends, Aadarsh is founder of Vivanet, which provide IT services and consulting to his various national and international clients across the globe. So Aadarsh, welcome. And I'm really thrilled to have you on our channel today. Thanks for giving your time. Aadarsh.
Thank you so much, Sunand, for having me today. Hello to all your viewers around the world, and hopefully everybody will enjoy this experience today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely, Aadarsh. Okay, so if you allow, shall we start?
Yes, please. Yeah, I'll try my best.
Okay. Okay. So tell us about yourself, like everything, like from your childhood, from your education, your work experience, the kind of companies you worked with in the past, your interests and hobbies, anything which you want to share for with our audience, Aadarsh.
Sure, and when it comes to introduction, I would like to try to keep it as short as possible because you asked for a lot of details. But yeah, I belong to a beautiful town called Belagavi in Karnataka. It is sharing its borders with Maharashtra and Goa. I was born and brought up there. My dad, Surya Prakash, is 77. My mom, Nirmala, is 74 years young. And they both still reside in Belagavi. I have an elder sister, Pratibha, who lives in Mumbai and has been my biggest supporter ever. As far as my education goes, I completed my graduation in computer science and engineering from Gupta Institute of Technology, Belagavi, and later on pursued my PG diploma in business management from Velinkar Institute, Mumbai. Uh, as far as my professional journey goes, I have close to 20 years of experience in IT, and it all began with a startup in Bangalore called Object Top Technologies. And I can never forget the golden days I spent over there. So it was awesome. From there, I moved on to Fidelity Investments again in Bangalore and was fortunate enough to get a fair amount of global exposure through a long-term assignment at Fidelity Investments USA. And then, life happened and I decided to get married and relocate to Pune. And that is when I landed a job in John Deere, India. I spent close to 15 years at this great company. And the culture and people at Deere helped me, grow not only as a professional, but as a leader over the 15 years. And I probably would never have quit the company if I hadn't got this bug of an entrepreneur. So, Deere means a lot to me as well. I continue to live in Pune with my 10-year-old son, Vivan, and my wife, Dipti, who's also an IT professional. They are not only my pillars of strength, but also my best critics. And, without their encouragement, I wouldn't have taken the decision to quit a highly decent and stable job, that too at the age of 41, and explore something which I always wanted to do. So as far as my hobbies go, I am an avid sports lover. I love playing any kind of sport, and love watching movies and TV all the time. So yeah, that's pretty much about me and my personal interests and hobbies, Sunand.
Thanks a lot, others. Thanks a lot. Okay, okay. So why don't you tell us about this company which you started? What kind of services, product you guys are building, and if you can disclose a couple of clients, if you want to share.
Yes, I think this was always playing on my mind on how I could reach out to talent across the country, mainly across the regions where we have a lot of talent, but there is dearth of skills, especially in the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. And that was one of the main intentions of coming up with an idea to build a talent network. And that is what I have set out to achieve through this company, which is Vivanet Consultancy Services Private Limited. I established this company in March, but the operations began in December 2021. Um, and ever since, we've been on this journey, and still early days for us as a company. The whole purpose behind establishing Vivanet is threefold when I look at it, right? The first one is creating a steady talent stream. Second, having a highly skilled talent pipeline. And the third one is providing top-notch services through our work stream. And our vision is to create an acclaimed talent engine and build a network of competent and skilled software professionals. And we are essentially an IT services and consulting organization, as you said, Suman, that provides custom development services as well as team augmentation and managed sourcing services. So as of today, I'm not in a position to really talk about all my clients, because a lot of those are under discussion, and I've started establishing clients within India as well as outside the country. And the going has been good. The progress is slow, but it's only been 6 months since we've started kind of our operations. But watch out for our space, watch out for social media, watch out for the public domain, where you will start seeing more from us, hearing more from us, right? But the overall intention is to at least reach a stage where we can uh, upskill at least 500 to 1,000 individuals across tier 3, tier 4 cities, and be able to provide, secure jobs for them over the next 2 years. That is the goal that we have set out for ourselves. So that is all I could share at this moment.
That's perfectly great. Okay, so I mean, this is a question which came to I think a lot of people mind, that what are the responsibilities of a founder? When we talk about, because we heard about a lot of stories that he's doing everything from opening the door to making the tea for him, and and then juggling here and there. I mean, we have heard a lot of those kind of stories. A lot of series has been made on that. So is it true? Is it the same thing, or is it the difference between reality and in the movies which we saw?
Oh, I think most of it is true. I still do make tea, but I think we are a virtual first company, so most of us work from home. And so when we are at home, we definitely make tea, is what I can say, right? But what I realized very quickly is that a founder has to wear multiple hats at the same time. So you're always juggling between different hats, different roles, different responsibilities. And it can be really a overwhelming experience when you start off in the early stages, right? On paper, a founder is expected to manage the team, formulate the vision, raise funds, focus on the KPIs, marketing, finances, effective business plans, having extensive knowledge of the market. So and with all that, you're also expected to lead from the front, right? So you know, all these look great, however, on paper, right? So what I've realized in the last 6 months and overall throughout my experience is that essentially it boils down to execution, right? So if you're able to execute your plans, if you're able to execute your ideas, your um, various things that you're thinking about, your thought process, so only then you will start seeing success in small measures. So I think that is why for me the key to a founder's responsibility is execution. And if the founder is able to do that, then the progress is automatic. It may be gradual in the beginning, but hopefully in my case, I'm hoping that it picks up speed over a period of time.
Great, Aadarsh. Okay, and what typically a day of founder looks like? Like, what do you guys do? Let's say morning, wake up, open the laptop, and then what next?
Yeah,
Or
it's
you guys even slept?
yeah. I mean, the way I describe it is
Day or night?
the word that I usually use, Sunand, is eventful, right? So that is how I usually describe my day. And when I start my day, I have a plan for some activities, right, that I know that I have to do. And then I always set some time aside for those activities that I know are going to be unplanned and will creep into your schedule on a day-to-day basis, right? And whether you like it or not, that will happen. I think there are so many threads that are usually open at the same time, and they could all be unrelated. So at one moment, I could be working on a customer invoice, and the next moment I could be making a staffing related decision. uh, on one moment I could be involved in a technical decision, and in another moment, I could be pulled into some legal compliance related issue, and I'm needed there. So I think, and the most important thing for me, and to look at my day, is to try my best to keep my calm, stay focused, and plan for an eventful day always. So there's never a dull day. At least so far, I've not experienced it, and that is why I'm looking forward to an eventful day every day, and that is what keeps me going, at least so far. Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Adarsh. So, see, we all know that there are a lot of challenges, even when before you start during your journey, and it's as a ongoing thing, right? I mean, challenges and issues are keep on coming, right? So, do you want to list any, at least one or two key challenges which you have faced before you started your company and how you resolve them? The idea is just so that other people can learn from them and what you have done. So, not to replicate, but at least just to get an idea.
Yeah, I think I'll kind of touch upon it, Sunan, if possible. So, what I've realized it is very important to have people around you who can always guide you and mentor you during the initial stages. So I had a vision, right, and a mission that I wanted to accomplish and focus on, but I had no idea how to go about doing it, right? So right from establishing a company, arranging the funds, administrative legal compliances, branding, sales and marketing, all these areas are like kind of uncharted territories for someone like me who spent most of his career in IT doing software development, right? So I realized that having a vision is not enough, right? And there is a lot to learn and a lot to do. And So I think it is important to have people around you who can also guide you. So idea is not going to go and get you anywhere all the time, right? So and these were the initial challenges I faced with respect to establishing the company. And I have people like Pranjal Joshi, Amit Deshpande, who continue to help me with my finances and legal and compliances with respect to taxation and stuff. Right, my team of technical experts is continuously helping me execute my plans around skill development, which is the key for us. Uh, People like Vijay Hospani, Bahubali Kagi, Sunil Datta, Mr. Deepak Kulkarni, who's my father-in-law as well, Mr. Uday Payadi, Sandeep Kanetkar, and of course my wife Dipti. This is my core group who I always brainstorm with, right? On business plans, sales, and marketing. Kushi Patodi helps me with the branding and social media. Why am I taking these names? I'm taking these names because I have a solid support system that is constantly backing me and encouraging me to stay on course through ups and downs. And you get a lot of these ups and downs. There are times when you don't know what you're doing and what is going to happen. So I think that's when you got to rely on your support system, and make sure that you have a solid support system around you, because it is not possible to also name all of them, because the list includes a lot of my friends and colleagues as well. But the crux of the matter is that I cannot do it all alone. So if you are a founder who thinks that you can do it all alone, or you have the ability to do it, that is great. You can do a lot of stuff, absolutely. But I think that the challenges that you face initially would also need that kind of guidance and mentoring from various sources. And that is what I realized, and that is what I'm always looking forward to reach out to people and eat their head and get more source of knowledge as much as possible.
Great. I think Adarsh, you have already covered one of my follow-up question, like what's the importance of having an initial core team. So you have already taken the name of a lot of peoples, right? So is it like these are the core team which supporting you constantly over the period of time, or I mean around these people you started this idea and then you form this thing. Is it the case?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because I think if you think about a core team, I always talk about an African proverb that I'm very attached to, right? So it always says if you want to walk fast, you walk alone, and if you want to walk far, you walk together, right? And Ratan Tata always uses this, if you've heard him talk. So I think that matters a lot to me, and having people around me who can tell me what is wrong, what is right, uh, who are my best critics, as I mentioned, my son, my wife, yeah, and others who I just mentioned. They're all people who I work with very closely. And yes, they are my core team. I have an extended team I work with. So, I'm still on the lookout for people who can still, I can still align with, who understand what we are trying to do, and who are really interested in joining us on this journey. So I think building this team and getting the right people on board is definitely one of the key priorities of today. Yeah.
Hey, thanks, others. Okay, so let's now talk about an interesting part that's on funding and the capital requirement and all. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, the capital and funding is very important before starting the new company or a startup. So, is it like you get that kind of challenges, or it's all bootstrap? Like you have put in your money and your money from your friends, or you have taken some loans, or how's it like? If you want to share a couple of things on this part.
Yeah, absolutely. I think funds are important, no doubt about it. I think without the funds,
We sorry to cut you. We had like at least you should have 6 to maybe 8 months or 9 months kind of funds with you initially when you don't know about. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can.
yeah, that's right. When I quit my job, I did a lot of financial planning, right? So the first thing that I was looking at is, can me and my family survive over the next year, right? With whatever our savings are. And suppose I'm not drawing a salary, right, as a founder during the initial stages. So can we survive and lead the same kind of lifestyle for close to a year, right? So that was my initial calculation. For sure I had to do that. That was a family decision. Me, my wife, and my son, we sat together and had this conversation, and only then we were able to kind of decide, okay, is this a risk worth taking, right? So, and on top of it, as you were asking me, was it bootstrapped? Yes, it is a bootstrapped organization as of now. And typically how funding works is something, if you want me to delve into, I can touch upon it. I'm not an expert on it, but I'm still a novice who's learning in this era, right? So since we are a company who's in the ideation stage, you're always looking at raising funds through bootstrap, self-financing, friends and family, right? And go to these pitching events, maybe like Shark Tank or something like that, right? So that is where you're constantly looking for source of funds. Uh, Once you cross that stage, and once you're reaching the stage of validation, where you are ready to validate your demand or your service, then you look at seed funds, right? And these funds typically come from your incubators, your government loan schemes, your angel investors, and also crowdfunding nowadays, right, which is very popular. Once you have validated your service, your demand, your product, right, you are probably reaching a stage of early traction, where you have your product, you have your service in the market, and now you're looking to expand your user base, right? And that is when you start looking at Series A funds, right? And that's called the Series A funds when you're in the early traction stage. And this is typically provided by your venture capitalists, your banks, your NBFCs, and your venture debt funds probably. So you're looking at these options. And then finally, once your company is doing great and is experiencing a fast rate of growth, then you're in the scaling stage where you can secure your series B, C, D, and E funds from various sources like your VCs again and private equity and investment firms. As I said, by the way, I consider myself a novice when it comes to funding and related discussions, but this is what I've learned so far, and it was important for me to understand how these things work. And if you're just starting on a similar journey as mine, then you will definitely find countless sources of information available on this topic as well. Especially in these days when there's a lot of buzz around startups, or there was a lot of buzz around startups. But I'm sure India is a country where there are a lot of people who always have had this mindset, and now there are ample opportunities for us to kind of explore them.
Thanks, Adarsh, for that. It's really good, like the way you have mentioned all these steps. So really good. Okay. Okay. So let's move a little bit about on a different topic. So as you mentioned about that, you are now exponentially growing over the period of time, and you are targeting around, I think, 10,000 something for next 2 years, right? The number of employee or candidates which you just
Hold
mentioned.
on, up to 1,000. 10,000 would be a
Oh,
large number. Yeah.
maybe 10,000. Maybe you never know. Maybe it's by
If it
God
happens,
grace.
it happens. Who will complain? I'm not the one going to be complaining, but yeah, definitely. Touch wood.
So that's good. Okay. So what kind of characteristics which you are looking for? When let's say you want to hire someone in for your company, right? So what kind of characteristics or traits which you are looking in your next candidate?
Yeah, and that's has always been a question on my mind, over the last 15, 16 years since I've been kind of leading teams, building teams, trying to hire and source, talent. And the biggest thing that I've always looked for, and to this day as well, is how good a team player an individual is. It may sound very cliched that team player, is something that you hear all the time. What really does a team player do, right? But I personally always look for those signs and facts that tell me if the individual will share, right, will care, and in the process also learn from his team, from his, her, their team, right? And I think that is extremely important for me, because that gives me a fair idea about the individual's attitude, communication, as well as self-awareness. Because if you go back and look at any team that you have worked in, any good team that you have worked in, any good team player that you have encountered throughout your career, what you will notice is they will consistently demonstrate a positive attitude, and they will always have effective communication, which does not mean that he needs to speak good English, good language. No, but he's able to effectively communicate in the team and take the team members along, right? And be able to set the right expectations with each other and work together well. And at the same time, you will also see a lot of willingness to improve, right? And that is why, for me, um, a team player that can demonstrate these characteristics is the biggest, advantage for me when hiring any talent. Um, and it may be exceptional or any other talent, but for me, every person is exceptional if you are able to find the right way to click, right, with that individual. So I think that is exactly what I look for.
Okay. Thanks, Adarsh. And this one will be our last question for the day. So,
Okay.
any key message which you want to convey or you want to give to young working professionals who are thinking to quit their job or want to be entrepreneur? Because now last year is a roller coaster ride for a lot of people. Now they are into two mind whether they want to quit or not. It's also always there in everyone's mind, right? So, how to overcome that kind of anxiety or fear or anything which, based on your experience, others you want to share?
Yeah, I think that's a tough one. It is really a lot up to the individual's thinking, planning, as well as the risk taking ability. And that I do not mean that people do not have that ability. I think there's a lot of buzz created around being an entrepreneur, being a founder. if you really go back, even if you're in a job, you can be an entrepreneur. You can have that mindset. You can still demonstrate that mindset. And have been very lucky, in the past, even in my job, to have worked with, leaders who have given me the empowerment or the autonomy to go and act like an entrepreneur. Right? I've always looked at it like that. So if you are in that mindset, if you are already feeling that you can do things on your own, or if you're loving doing things on your own or autonomously, and you love being empowered, you love that feeling, you and that motivates you a long way, I think that is the key. And if that is what drives you, then you will start making plans, you will start looking at things from that perspective. And then on top of it, if you have an idea, if you have a vision of what you want to create or what you want to do, then uh, that's the progression, that's the next step for you, right? And you will have to sit with your folks, with people who really matter, and talk through your idea, get the best critics on board, right? Talk about what you want to do, how are you going to do it, what are you going to achieve, what is your vision, and then put forth all your risks and opportunities, and then take a call, right? I don't think anybody can really take the decision for you. It has to be you based on certain facts and figures as well as your emotions. So you need to find the right balance. And if you're able to do that, and then be ready to also forego certain things. And most importantly, in my case, it was my ego, right? So having been settled in a job and having gone through various roles through progression, and progress throughout the corporate ladder, I was, in a decent and stable job, as I said. But for me to come back and do everything from scratch, I've had to eat my own ego many a times. So there are a lot of things that this journey will teach you, and it's an enlightening one. So if you are looking forward to it, uh, you know, I would be most willing to welcome you on board, and would be always available to kind of share my thoughts and views and opinions with anyone who's interested.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Adarsh, for sharing all your wisdom, all your experiences with us. And I'm hopefully, hopefully whoever is going to watch this session, at least even if they can learn at least one thing out of this complete session, that will be, I think, a win for me. And thanks a lot, Adarsh. And we will meet when again when you have 10,000 or people in your organization, or when you are going to hit a 1 million, your target of 1 million USD. That will definitely going to happen soon. If not this year, next year for sure, Adarsh. And then you will
Yeah,
remember me, and then you're going to call me that, hey, Sunan, we have achieved this target. That's my forecast, Adarsh, for you.
absolutely. But
You are
thank you,
so
thank you.
humble, down to earth, Adarsh. I can just, I mean, I can just make it out. And I think that's the most beauty of you. You are such a calm, composed person, Adarsh. So
Well, really appreciate all the comments, for the kind words as well. Really, thank you, Sunan, for this opportunity. As I keep saying, I'm a newbie on this path, and a novice. And as wise men say, you can always become a philosopher once you are a rich person, right? So in my case, when I'm rich in terms of knowledge and experience, I would be more than happy to come back and share whatever I have learned, and whatever I have experienced, and hoping that
definitely,
it.
I will wait for that second episode with you, Adarsh. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sunam.
Thanks a lot, Adarsh.
All
Okay.
right, take
Thanks everyone. Bye.